Hello everyone, it's me again, the so-called king of the jungle. But honestly, I think that title is overrated. I mean, I didn't ask for this job. I didn't apply. I just woke up one day and everyone started calling me king. And now I'm expected to roar every morning, chase after zebras and act all majestic. Bro, I just want to nap under this tree. The sun rises, the birds start singing, the wind blows across the golden grass, and there I am, sprawled out like a giant fluffy carpet. My mane looks like it hasn't been brushed in weeks, which is true, and I can hear my lioness calling me to join the hunt. Come on, Leo, she roars. The herd is moving. And I'm like, yeah, in 5 minutes, which in lion time means 2 hours later. The cubs jump on me, biting my tail and climbing all over my back. They think I'm some kind of jungle playground. I try to act fierce, but honestly, I love it. They tumble around me, roaring their tiny roars, more like squeaky meows. I look at them and think, these kids will run the savannah someday. But then again, maybe they'll be lazy like their dad. When I finally drag myself to the hunt, it's usually too late. The lionesses already caught something and are eating. I walk over slowly, pretending I was guarding the territory. Everyone knows I wasn't. They roll their eyes, but they still save me the best part, the ribs. That's when I puff up my chest and act like I planned the whole thing. Sometimes I do try to hunt. Like yesterday, I saw a zebra just chilling. I crouched low, my tail flicked, my muscles tensed, and just as I was about to pounce, a butterfly landed on my nose. I sneezed. The zebra turned, looked me dead in the eyes, and walked away. Walked. Not ran. Just walked. I think it even smirked. That was the moment I realized hunting isn't really my passion. What is my passion? Sleeping. Oh, yes. 12 hours a day, minimum. My lioness says I'm lazy. I call it energy management. You see, being the king is stressful. All that roaring, walking around like I own the place, making sure other males don't sneak into my territory. It's a full-time job. But you can't rule if you're tired, right? So technically, when I nap, I'm working smart. Then there are the hyenas. Ugh, always laughing at me. I try to ignore them, but one day I couldn't take it anymore. I walked up to their den, chest out, and said, "You got a problem?" They started laughing louder. I tried roaring, but my voice cracked halfway. It sounded like a goat. Even I started laughing. So now, every time I walk past, they call me Squeaky King. I pretend not to care, but deep down it hurts. Sometimes I think about changing my life, becoming the lion I was meant to be. Waking up early, joining hunts, showing off my power. But then, the sun hits my fur just right, the breeze feels perfect, and I'm like, maybe tomorrow. There's one thing I'm good at, though, posing. The tourists love me. Their jeeps come rolling in, cameras clicking, and I strike my best pose. Chin up, eyes focused, mane blowing dramatically. I hear them whisper, "Wow, what a majestic creature." If only they knew that 2 minutes later, I'd be scratching my belly and yawning so loud it scares the birds. The cubs once asked me, "Dad, what's it like being the king?" I told them, it's about looking confident even when you don't know what's going on. Because let's be honest, half the time, I don't. But if I sit tall, stare into the distance, and pretend I'm thinking deep thoughts, everyone buys it. Inside, I'm probably wondering, did I dream about chasing gazelles again, or was that real? One time, a young male challenged me. He came roaring into my territory, muscles flexed, mane shining, and I was in the middle of a nap. I got up, stretched, yawned, and said, "Really? Now?" But I had to defend my pride. So we circled each other, growling. He charged. I dodged and accidentally tripped on a rock. He stopped, confused. I quickly got up and roared like it was part of the plan. He ran away. Victory! The lionesses cheered. They didn't notice I almost face-planted. Being king isn't just about power, it's about pretending you meant to do that. Sometimes late at night, I sit under the stars. The savannah is quiet, the air cool, and I watch the moon reflect in my cub's eyes. That's when I realize how lucky I am. I might be lazy. I might snore loud enough to scare hyenas, but I've got a family, a pride, and a home. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes me the real king. The next morning, I wake up to my lioness dragging food back. She glares at me and says, "You could help, you know." I grin and say I was guarding the territory. She rolls her eyes, but I catch her smiling. She knows me too well. Then the cubs run over, jumping on me again. One pulls my ear, the other bites my tail. I act grumpy, but secretly, it's my favorite part of the day. Life in the wild isn't easy, but when you're surrounded by those who love you, even when you're lazy. It's perfect. I once overheard a tourist guide telling his group, "That lion there, he's a legend. He's ruled this land for years." I smiled. Legend, huh? Not bad for someone who's been asleep 80% of his life. So yeah, maybe I'm not the fastest or the fiercest or the most active, but I am the happiest. I take things slow, enjoy every nap, every sunrise, and every cub hug, because at the end of the day, even kings need rest. And when the wind blows across the savannah and my mane dances in the golden light, I look around and think, maybe this lazy lion thing isn't so bad after all. So if you ever see a big lion lying flat on the grass, half asleep with a goofy smile, that's probably me. Don't disturb, I'm not lazy, I'm just conserving royal energy. You know what's funny? Even after all these naps, I still feel sleepy. Maybe I was born tired. I remember the day I first roared as a cub. Everyone in the pride went wild, saying, "Wow, he'll be a fierce king someday." Yeah, right. Fast forward to today, and my biggest battle is against a fly buzzing around my ear. You'd think the king of the jungle could handle a fly. Nope, I swat, I miss, it comes back. I swat again, boom, missed again. That fly must be training for the Olympics. Anyway, it's late afternoon now. The savannah glows golden, and I'm lying on my favorite rock. You know, the one that makes me look majestic in pictures. Sometimes tourists point their cameras at me, whispering, "Look, the mighty lion." If only they knew I was thinking about snacks, not strategy. Maybe that's my superpower. I look powerful even when I'm just digesting lunch. Speaking of lunch, oh, what a meal! A nice fat zebra earlier today, or as I like to call it, striped delivery. The lionesses did all the work, of course. I came at the end, strutted around like I helped, took a few bites, and then dramatically collapsed in the shade. Classic me. The cubs look at me like I'm some sort of superhero. "Wow, Dad, you're amazing." And I'm like, "Yes, my child, remember, timing is everything." But deep down, sometimes, I wonder, am I too lazy? I mean, every great lion before me has stories of bravery, hunting alone, roaring across mountains, and here I am, known as the king of naps. I even overheard a hyena the other day laughing about it. That lion snores louder than he roars. I pretended not to hear, but honestly, it stung a little. Maybe I should, I don't know, do something kingly. So that night, I decided to go for a walk under the stars. The moonlight painted the savannah silver, and I felt strangely alive. No flies, no cubs, no lionesses, just me in the night. I took a deep breath and tried to roar. It came out half-hearted at first. Rah! Sounded like a tired cow. But then, something inside me clicked. I took a deeper breath, and this time I let it out with everything I had. Rawr! It echoed through the valley. For a moment, I felt like the old kings. Then, the echo woke up the entire pride. One of the lionesses yelled, "Simba, are you okay?" Another added, "Did someone step on your tail?" So much for my dramatic moment. I mumbled, No, just testing my roar." The cubs giggled. I sighed. Maybe this heroic thing isn't for me. The next morning, I was back to my usual routine, sleeping, stretching, yawning, repeating. The lionesses went out hunting again. I stayed behind to guard the den. A noble duty. Except I fell asleep while guarding. When I woke up, one of the cubs was trying to climb on my head. "Dad, you snore funny," he said. I pretended to be offended. "That's not snoring, that's royal breathing." He didn't buy it. Hours passed. The sun got hotter. I started hearing rustling in the grass. My first thought, lunch delivery again? Nope, it was a pack of hyenas creeping too close. Normally, I'd call the pride, but they were all gone. It was just me and the cubs. My lazy heart skipped a beat. For the first time in a long while, I had to act. The hyenas laughed, that creepy giggle of theirs. "Look who's awake, the sleepy king," one said. I stood up slowly, stretching like I wasn't worried. Inside, my tail was twitching, but I couldn't show fear. My cubs were watching. I took a step forward, then another. They surrounded me, maybe 8 of them. I growled low, the sound rumbling in my chest. "You sure you want to test me today?" I said, hoping they couldn't tell my legs were shaking. Then it happened. Instinct took over. I charged. The ground thundered under my paws. Dust flew. My roar ripped through the air, raw and furious. For once it wasn't lazy or sleepy or half-hearted. It was pure power. The hyenas froze, then scattered like leaves in the wind. My cubs' eyes went wide with awe. "Dad, that was awesome," one shouted. I stood there panting, chest heaving, feeling both exhausted and proud. When the lionesses returned, they saw the trampled grass and the hyena tracks. You fought them off? One asked, surprised. I shrugged. Yeah, just another day at the office. Truthfully, I was ready to collapse, but I had to keep my cool. The cubs wouldn't stop talking about it all night. Dad roared so loud, even the trees shook, they said. I smiled quietly, curling up beside them. Maybe I'm not just the king of naps after all. But don't get me wrong, I didn't exactly turn into a workaholic after that. The next day, I was right back on my favorite rock, soaking in the sun. A gazelle passed by again and bowed sarcastically. I gave a lazy wave with my paw. Not today, buddy. I've already done my cardio for the week. Still, something changed that day. When I roar now, it's a little stronger. When I nap, it's with pride, pun intended. Because I know that when it really mattered, I stood up for my family. And even if I'm lazy, I'm still a lion. One afternoon, a little cub came running to me. Dad, when I grow up, can I be like you? I smiled. Of course, son. Just try to roar before you snore. He laughed and curled up next to me. The golden light of sunset washed over the savannah, and I realized something beautiful. Being king isn't about hunting or fighting all the time. It's about knowing when to act, when to rest, and when to simply enjoy the wind on your mane. So here I am, Simba the Sleepy, proud, peaceful, and perfectly lazy. And guess what? The hyenas never came back. Maybe they're still running. Or maybe they're just scared of the roar that finally woke up the king who was always half asleep. The world moves fast. But me? I move at nap speed. Because no matter how busy life gets, every king deserves a good nap after saving the day.